This is the first time I've been without a mask on in front of you all in 2.5 years. So I have no idea what my lipstick looks like. Okay. And we all know vanity is my superpower, right? Okay. So folks who are sitting here, I want you to do something very quietly. I want you to just turn around and look back towards the statues. It has also been 2.5 years since we've seen all of the kids playing together outside in a worshipful way. And it's pretty amazing. The other day I was given a definition of sacred that was, sacred means to set apart and to be separate. And I kind of want to live into that this here at UUCP in our congregation and on our campus is a place where we set apart ourselves and our hearts and our spirits for a little bit each Sunday and be together. And it's pretty amazing to see that today. Okay, now the real thing. Good morning, every puppy. My name is Katie Resendez, and I'm the Director of Children's Ministry here at UUC Phoenix. It's a fun job. See, not so long ago, a long time ago, just the other day, Chris woke up and was feeling very imbalanced. Because the first thought Chris had that morning was, I have to admit to myself that Lisi is really gone. You see, Lisi was Chris's kitty cat. Chris had had Lisi since he was maybe 3 years old, and now at the ripe old age of 10, it was hard to think of life without Lisi. But a few weeks ago, Chris's little brother had left the door open, and Lisi hadn't been seen since. And Chris decided today was the day to let go. But that wasn't easy and didn't feel good, and it started with this feeling of imbalance. Feel in yourself what that imbalance is. Is it taking jagged breaths? Or tilting to one side, or feeling your stomach in knots? What do you feel like when you wake up and are feeling imbalanced? See if you can reproduce that. Remember how your hands feel, your neck, where it's tense. So even though Chris felt imbalanced, he still had to get up and face the day. And he went over to his pile of clothes that he had put out the night before like a very responsible 10-year-old. Put on the pants and shirts and went to grab the socks and automatically tugged back at them because he was so used to Lisi the kitten pouncing on the socks and trying to pull them back. And felt how much joy that would bring every day. Frustration and joy. Have you ever felt frustration and joy at the same time? Where does it sit? For me, it's always in my hands or my arms when I'm feeling both, because I want to be happy and I also just want you to stop. And those are both things. Take a second to think about, where does frustration live in your body? Where does joy live in your body? He's finally got his socks on and started the day. And the day was nice and the weather was beautiful. And in fact, because Chris was feeling a little sleepy, there was a beautiful sunny spot on the floor. And Chris decided to lay down and read a book. And that deep relaxation reminded Chris of Lisi bathing in the sun and rolling back and forth like some cats do. And being totally relaxed. And to go from frustration to relaxing takes deep breath. And Chris found himself taking deep breaths. And then it was lunchtime, and Chris remembered not only was lunch going to be delicious because his grandmother had made lunch for him, but also there was exciting things to be done this afternoon. So Chris's stomach filled with butterflies and excited feelings, and he immediately remembered the kitten chasing butterflies and seeing moths and even dust motes sometimes. And that excited little, and that excitement lived there. For me, it lives like right here when I get excited, and in my fingertips, which I think you all know because you see me do this all the time. But where does excitement live for you? I know at least one of you flips your hair when you're excited. And I know someone else in this congregation who does this when they're excited. Just like that cat jumping after the butterfly. So the excitement of the afternoon was friends coming over. Lots of friends coming over. A whole house full of friends. And it was full of noise and dance parties and all sorts of things. It was great and wonderful. And think about how happy and social you are. But Chris remembered that Lisa used to go and hide under the bed, like scared kittens sometimes do. Chris could feel that fear and that timidness in his thighs, in his feet. His toes would curl up, remembering how frightened his cat would be. And as the day ended and the friends went home, things relaxed again. Chris had dinner. And Chris kept thinking about Lisi, that little cat with the little nose and the little ears and the long tail, always wanting to be pet, especially at bedtime, kind of demanding that Chris went to bed on time, stomping into the room, and stomping back off to the bedroom, stomping into the room, stomping back off to the bedroom, again and again and again, until the 10-year-old agreed to finally go to sleep. But there was no Lisi to do that today. Instead, today, Chris had to put himself to sleep. And as he laid in his bed, he thought about how much he missed his cat, but also how much his cat was still with him, and that it was hard to let go, and that all of those feelings today, all of those ways his pet had taught him how to be in the world and in his body, he got to keep those, no matter where Lisi was. And Chris still felt imbalanced. But this time, at night, as he lay in bed, it wasn't the imbalance of fear or of even uncomfortableness. It was the almost crooked wobbliness of being about to tip forward into the next thing. And of course, there was one last memory of Lisi standing on the edge of the coffee table in front of a whole row of glasses, getting ready to help them tip as well. Thank you, everyone.